So far, it's been good. We obviously brought in some guys at running back, so it's been good to see those guys come along. Quinton's been a huge addition for us. He's been looking really good. And then to have Vaughn and James, those two have been coming along really well. Offensively, our O-line's probably been the best position group overall. They've been really good, really pleased with them so far, and it's been good to kind of see the quarterback competition too as well.
So for this new offense and that you're teaching, how much of a difference is it for some of the running backs? I know you got 3 new guys, but for like a day, I know he's not been practicing much, or Malik. How different is some of the terminology and the schemes that they be running?
Oh, it's completely different. So it's been teaching everything from square one. So it's a complete adjustment for those guys. So we've been kind of trying to take it as slow as we can, but still kind of getting as much install as we can get into as well. But it's a completely different offense for those guys. But Day-Day's been, he's been out, but he's still locked in every single day. I mean, he's really sharp and really on top of everything. But it's a huge adjustment for those guys.
And I know you typically do a lot of 2-back sets. Now are you looking for 2 different type of skill sets out of those 2 different backs on the field, or just getting your 2 best backs on the field?
Typically, we do look for 2 different type of skill sets. So one, you'll typically have a B-back. He's the dive back in our offense. He's the bigger one. And then the other one was the A-back. It's the one that we typically can move around, put him in a slot, bring him in different type of motions, put him in the backfield. He's one that we're going to pitch it to. So typically we do look for 2. Ideally, we'll look for one that can do both, so you don't kind of get into a situation where people kind of know what's going on. Like Day-Day's one that can do both. Vaughn Blue, the freshman, is one that can do both. But you'll see Quinton and James, those are the guys that are going to be typically more B-backs.
Spoke about Vaughn. What has he impressed so much so quickly? You hear a lot of coaches talking about him already making a big impact as a freshman.
The one thing that stands out about Vaughn is his work ethic. Vaughn is probably the hardest worker in the room, probably one of the hardest workers I've been around. Every rep for him is like a game rep. He don't take any plays off. He's full go, nonstop. All right, every single play. Sometimes it's bad, but he's wide open all day, every day. He's the hardest worker. He's very sharp, very bright. He's on top of everything. He puts in the time. We actually can see who's actually, based off of the playbook online, we can actually see who's doing the most studying. We can see who's watching the most film. And right now, Vaughn's the one in the running back room that's constantly watching. So he's been really good for us.
As a staff, when did you guys first come across Quinton in the portal? I mean, did you know him prior to that? And how quickly did you try to move to get him in?
Yeah, well, I actually knew about Quinton at the previous school that I was at. We offered him there. Obviously, he chose to go somewhere else. But as soon as he hit the portal, we were on top of it. We knew how good he was coming out of high school, so if we had a chance, once he went into the portal to get him, we were going to be all in. So as soon as he hit it, Coach Shadwell made the call to get him up here for a visit, and he fell in love with it, and it was all good to go there.
And what have been the main things that kind of stuck out about him so far during spring practice?
He's a leader. He's a leader. He takes that role seriously. If the running back's not having a good day at practice, he's on top of them. He does everything the way it's supposed to be. He does everything right. And that's what stands out. And that's on and off the field. And that's what stands out most about Quinton. He literally does everything that you ask him to do. If he did it wrong, it's probably my fault. He's that kind of guy that literally does everything the right way.
And James was a guy that was highly recruited out of high school, didn't get a ton of playing time at Arkansas, talented running backs there. What did you guys see out of him that made you want to target him?
What we saw out of James was he was a bigger back, but he had the skill set. I mean, he was a really, like you said, he was a really talented guy. So he had a high skill set for a bigger back. That's hard to get typically at G5 schools. Typically those guys go to the Power Fives, as he did. So if we had a chance to get him, we were going to be all in on him. And since he's been here, you can see his skill set. There's some things that he still struggles with here and there. But for the most part, you can see his skill set. But the thing about James so far that we've been pleased with is every single day he's gotten better. It's not like one day he's here, one day the next day he's going back. Every single day that he's been here, he's gotten better. So we were very excited about him and very excited about his future.
And then just overall, the running backs, how have they kind of picked up on the new offense and the new schemes, and do you feel like they're going at a good rate right now?
It was good for the first few days. Now I thought I was going to get some more gray in my beard, but they've grown, man. They've been fun. They're a really fun group. They're picking up on the offense. It's hard, especially for running backs in this offense. We do a lot with our running backs. We ask a lot of them. So obviously you expect some bumps in the road the first few practices, but to see them continue to grow and get better, and to put the time in away from the field has been pleased.
And with some of the pitch plays, how, you know, in an option offense, you hear a lot about in, you know, your standard offense, you know, quarterback and receivers, making sure they're on the same page. But is that also the same thing for you guys in this offense with the running backs and a quarterback? So how difficult is that with, you know, 3-4 guys getting reps there?
Yeah, that's very important for us. What we do is we call it mesh period, but we do it 10 minutes every day, where we get quarterbacks, running backs, where we work on that relationship as far as the pitch, as far as the dive. But yeah, that is something that takes a lot of time, just like receivers and quarterbacks working together. It takes a ton of time as far as running backs and quarterbacks getting on the same page. So we will put in 10 minutes every single day just to kind of get on the same page with the quarterbacks.
Coach, you've got about 5 more practices before the spring game. What do you guys hope to accomplish in the next?
For the next few 5 practices, probably trying to just continue to just get more install in and just kind of continue to watch the guys develop more and more. One of the things that's been a big emphasis for us is physicality. So you want to continue to emphasize that and continue to see that develop as we move through these next 5 practices.